Today's episode of the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast is brought to you by BioPro, Hidden House Coffee, and Next Gen Peptides. Enjoy the show. Like almost 100 episodes of just the two of us.
And you think about...
But just the community you guys brought together. Even me, I was just scrolling down through your page, yesterday. I'm like, damn, you guys brought a lot of good people.
It's nuts.
And then just the name, Good Dude, it's like...
It's all him.
It's very catchy.
Yeah.
It's very welcoming. And so I sat down, I'm like, I can definitely see this brand be like, like that one brand that everyone wears is Dad Gang.
Yeah.
Dad Gang. But it has a different meaning to it, You guys are actually bringing good people and good fathers. And there's people have a story, people have a message. So when you asked, I was like, no questions asked, I'll be here.
Yeah.
And especially because I'm all about being a good person to everyone else and just sharing that message.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Question for you, because we just decided before you do your intro, which we've been doing this the last several episodes.
I want to know. Yeah.
But we were thinking, like, he just changed right before he got here to our Instagram to Good Dude. What did you change?
Good Dude Podcast.
So Good Dude Podcast, because Good Dude, Good Dad is rad, but not everyone's a dad.
Correct.
Not everyone wants to be a dad, but you could still be an awesome man, right? And so we were like, well, I think what we're going to do is change the whole umbrella under Good Dude, because we actually own the domain gooddude.com. And so now I think our goal is to like house everything under Good Dude and drop that to our name of the podcast, because it doesn't matter if you're a dad or not.
Correct.
Like being a good man is way more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was talking to my wife and I was like, what podcast are you on to? I was like, it's Good Dude, Good Dad. She's like, but you're not a father.
Yeah.
I was like, but there's still a message out there.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, even though I'm not a father, I'm still around with 90% of the men that I train. They're all fathers.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot from them. So to share something that, they have implemented throughout my, training career and share it on the podcast with you guys, it's amazing,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think going with the Good Dude is great because it brings more people in. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I'm not a dad. I can't be on that podcast.
Yeah.
Still, like, Good Dude, I'm like, all right, I'll be on it.
Yeah.
It's a good, catchy name. Run with it.
Dude.
You never know.
Yeah, we were just talking about, like, it's so funny. That's the thing that we always get is people are like, well, I'm not a dad.
Yeah.
And then like immediately they go, yeah, but I guess that doesn't matter. And it's like, yeah, but if we just get rid of that little bit, I think it'll really just automatically open people.
Yeah. But we also we will be able to have, like, obviously those conversations still, which is dope. But
yeah.
I don't know why it took us so long to get
I think
here.
changes it.
But you got to start somewhere, right? You started with Good Dude, Good Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw what you guys are creating.
Yeah.
And then you guys brainstorm. And then you guys get feedback.
Yeah.
And then you get like someone like myself. And you're like, all right, let's run with Good Dude. Maybe you guys run it for the next 6 years. And that wasn't a catch. And you guys go back. And it never hurts. Doesn't hurt to try.
For sure. Well, dude, we fought to get this freaking the domain name gooddude.com. Like, we fought for it. We paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, we freaking went back and forth. Like, they wanted...
It's like 4 months we were trying to get it.
Yeah, how much did they wanted some, like, stupid amount at the beginning.
Like $25,000 or something. It was
for the domain.
insane.
I think we settled on... You don't feel afraid to move it around.
No, I got it.
I think we settled. I mean, whatever. We bought it for something. That's another thing we bought for. Like, we bought that, and we had plans on doing.
That was a pretty big investment.
It was, and that trip, all in one.
Yeah.
We flew out. We did our first podcast with like a guy that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Which we've never experienced and learned. We saw like how he did it, and for us, we were like, oh my gosh. And now Jordan is working for a guy that also has like a big name and brand, and I feel like everything we're doing, like we help, we run the men's ministry at our church. So it's like there's so many things that this has like opened.
Of course.
Because, dude, you would have never been able to catch me leading a men's ministry. Forget that.
Yeah, there's so many crazy things that have come out of this podcast. But the cool part is, like, no matter what our name is, like our conversations get to stay exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. All about just finding good people. And I mean, we've had all male guests so far. I'd love to have some female guests on at some point, but like, it's just about being a good person. Like and I didn't get to give you my spiel earlier, but the whole thing started from me almost dying from a stroke at 30 years old. And I had my son, who was a year old, and my wife was pregnant with our second. She was 6 months pregnant. And it like just, I came out of that and was like, well, I mean, what happens? The doctor was like, hey, you still might die. I'm like, okay, well, what happens if I die? Like, how am I going to teach my son to be a better man growing up, or how to be a good man when I'm growing up? And so I just started leaving voice notes, and then voice notes turned into just me holding my phone, leaving him video messages. And then that turned into me doing a podcast in my garage that I call my little angry man rants, where it was just like me in a dirty garage with a really horrible logo. And then Ben saw it and turned it into this. And yeah, man, it's been a fun journey. It's been a blessing.
No, man. Yeah, I'm happy for you guys, and I've seen you guys evolve. Well, you guys been doing this for what, a couple months now, a year?
No, about a year and a half, 2 years.
About 2 years, dude.
Yeah, but I feel like we pushed.
A little over a year ago.
Yeah, I would say we'll round up. Go a year and a half is when we like started actually pushing it.
But we still haven't given this our full attention.
No, and we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like a fun thing to have on the side, right? It just takes you away from work.
Yeah.
You know, from whatever's going on, and just spend some quality time with good people.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the stories that come out of here, bro, are, and we'll get into yours shortly after this, but like I didn't know AJ before this. I mean, I know him from you connecting us, seen him around the shop, a lot of mutual friends, obviously know what he does for work. We both are Marines. Like, that's it, right? That's what I knew. And then when he's like going in here, you learn more about people in a setting like this than where else would you do this? Like, if I was like, hey, Kev, let's go get a beer, like, maybe some stuff will come up because I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
But more often than not, you're not going to get three dudes sitting around a table talking about their feelings because it's not manly, right? Or it's not cool, or you're too soft if you do that. Because I would have said the same stuff for years. Now, I've discovered that it's actually way harder to sit here and have a conversation in front of other dudes, and whoever's going to listen to this on top of that and be like, oh, wait, that actually takes like more balls to sit there and actually admit that than if I just were to be like, no, dude, I'm tough, you know? But it's been the trippiest thing, like the conversations that have been had, and
this is almost like it's almost like a campfire. Like, you know, like I feel like when you go, like, I don't know if you're a big camper, but like when I was in my early 20s, what we did a lot is
he goes with AJ.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'd go.
That's my year this year.
Yeah.
Goes to camp more this year, so
we'd go drink beer around a campfire, and that's where like the good conversations happen, and like that you don't get to do that every day, you know?
No.
And so like being able to do this is like almost a virtual campfire for us, more or less, where it's like you come, you sit, you have a great conversation about things that most people don't talk about. And then the funny part is like when we leave, it's like I feel like we're homies with everyone that just left. And I'm like, cool, we've literally known each other for, mostly in my case, Ben, you know most of the guests that have come on. I've known you for like 2 hours, but now it's like when I see him, I'm like, dude, what's up? Dude?
Yeah.
And like,
as you guys become a little bit tighter, closer, you're like, oh, that's my brother right there.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love what you guys are doing, and I'm happy to be here, you know? So.
Well, Kevin Turna Hernandez.
Yeah.
Turna.
That's the nickname. Hernandez is actually my real last name. But yeah, just to
I literally have your phone saved as Kevin Turna Hernandez.
Yeah, no, everyone's like, I thought your last name was Turna. I was like, no, it's actually Hernandez, but it's a nickname that was given to me from the bodybuilding days.
Yeah.
And it's stuck ever since. So Kevin Turna is what I usually go by, and that's what people know me as.
I put Kevin Turna in my phone, and
Did you?
And then like the notification for our it was like Hernandez. I was like, who's Hernandez? And I was like, oh, okay. That makes
And
more
you're not
sense.
the only one.
That's so funny.
But yeah, you just opened up a new gym here in Orange County. Give us a little lowdown on that real quick.
Yeah, so we just opened a new studio called Mueve Studio. We've been open since November 1st down in Irvine. So we're excited to share this new space with our whole community and just bring something different to Orange County.
Let's go.
Dude, it's dope because he's not going to brag about it, so I will. I got to finally go Wednesday, a couple of days ago, and the gym he was at, I've known since 8th grade, right? That's how I met. You know who?
Everybody.
I know, but you know who?
Yeah, everybody.
I'll tell you after. I think I told you, but I'll tell you more after. It's like a gym that I got to grow up going to. So it's like the Cheers TV show of like gym, right? You walk in, and all the trainers are there. Dude, that's how I felt on Wednesday. Like, I'm just a nobody in that gym, And the amount of trainers that came up to me and were like, Ben.
But after you left, you know, a few of them were like, you know what? It's actually nice having Ben back. He's such a good person. I swear I got texts left and right. I was
That's
like,
so
you know,
funny.
but I tell a lot of these individuals that walk into our gym, they're not just a regular person. They're someone to our community. And so when Ben left our old gym, it was like, you left an impact. So having you back, it's like, you know, you light up that star again, and everyone's like, all the trainers are all happy to have you back.
Yeah.
They see your coffee, they just don't see you, and they ask about you. So they were happy to have you back, man.
I know. And that made me feel like so cool, right? Because I've been going on and off in that gym. Some of those trainers have been there a long time. And then when I was working out with Kevin, you know, they're all ripping each other, right?
Yeah,
it's like what you would expect. Like if you and I were to go to a gym, that's what they are, right? And he's the freaking ringleader of it, like just messing around with people. And it's that feeling where you're like, all right, I'm about to get a workout. It's good for me. It's probably going to suck, but I'm in it with all these other people. They're going to rip on me. Who cares? You know, if you don't show up, he draws a freaking stick figure of you. Like, but it's that feeling where you're like, all right, if I'm going to sacrifice time away from my family, it took me 45 minutes to get there.
Wow.
Like that's
you know what? There was a lot of traffic. Because even AJ, there was some backup traffic.
Yeah, it was
car accident.
crazy. And I knew it was going to take me a while, right? So I left appropriate amount of time, which most people wouldn't do, and they'd freaking show up late. But I was like, no, dude, it's probably going to take me at least like 40 minutes. So I left my house at 7:15 for an 8 o'clock workout. Get there, right away, trainers welcoming, obviously you too. And then I'm just mind blown by the space that they're created. So I'm like looking around, and it was just a very good experience and atmosphere, which to me, like in a gym space, if you're listening and you are looking for a gym, hit them up. But it's so easy to go to a gym that's filled with like just meathead and bro douchebags, or the opposite where you're like the only dude and it's only female, so you don't want to be like a creep, right?
Yeah.
You have like that perfect balance where you have, it's a beautiful space. You have machines I've never even seen. The details, like Reem crush, dude. Like the light fixtures, the paint on the walls, the freaking bathrooms. I was like, dude, this is nicer than my house. And then to just have that welcoming experience was just like really dope. So I'm super happy for you.
Well, we can't wait to have Jordan in there.
Yeah, dude, I'm
we
down.
Have the same experience, man.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll link
Make him
everything
see
down
Jesus.
below too.
There's a few hooks and catchy lines that I do for people when they're not committed, stick figure, or if they're having an intense workout. I'll say, hey, it's okay to see Jesus.
Yeah, he'll freaking zoom in on you, dude. You're not safe there.
Yeah.
Camera wise,
That's the
you're
best
safe
thing, though.
otherwise, but like target wise, you're gonna get made fun of. I kept my head on a swivel with him because it was my first workout back. I was like, I'm not letting this fool catch me. And so like on the Stairmaster at one point, dude, I was dragging, and I was like, where is he? Where is he? Even the guy.
No one's
next to
safe.
me.
Everyone texts me like, no one's safe at that gym. I was like, no one's safe. But that's the whole part of being part of Mueve Studio.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create a community, a place where there's energy, family. You guys have the name, good dudes, good people in that space. And I just want to make it feel like home. Because a lot of the clientele that comes in, that is their second home. So why go to a place where you're like, damn, I hate this place. You know, everyone's welcoming. Everybody wants to have you there. The biggest thing is on my end is I like the entertainment side, you know. I'll trash talk, give you a hard time, but at the end of the day, I want you to leave and say, damn, he put me through a tough workout, but I didn't quit. Yeah. This made me a better man, a better leader. Now I can pass this down to my kids. So
yeah,
and then show them what I'm working towards.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I can't wait till you come.
Oh, I'll go with you.
Yeah, he's gonna come see Jesus.
I want you. Any person that does a first workout with, I mean, you're different because you do CrossFit and stuff, so you're used to that pace. But
I'm gonna die. Like I already know.
I brought my. Do you remember before I left the first time? I brought my cousins with me.
Dude. Yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
So one of them, Connie, the one, he's from they live in Massachusetts.
Yeah, there was like an endurance athlete guy.
And that's Connie.
Yeah.
My cousin Connie, he'll run circles around me, right? He's an endurance athlete, running, cycling, that kind of stuff. But it's just different, right? And I was in like okay shape and the jiu-jitsu, hockey, and I was training with Turna like freaking 2 or 3 days a week. we were talking smack before we got there. I was like, just wait. And then my sister's fiance was there, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan.
And so he was talking smack too, because I don't lift weights anymore. And I was like, all right, you guys, just wait. I was like, not only am I going to smoke you today, like you're going to die. And so I had even more reason to push that day. And dude, they both were dead, dead.
I'm not a smack talker. So when it comes to workouts, like I'm not a smack talker.
Oh,
like,
I am.
I was bodybuilding in high school, coming out of high school, and then I was like wanting to do the Navy SEAL thing, and I met a rescue swimmer from the Navy, and he's like, let's go through a workout. So he put me through this workout, and I was dying, and he literally goes, wow, you're not as good a shape as you look. He's like, you look pretty, you can't do anything, and that broke me at like 19 years old. Fast forward, like I'm in my mid 20s, my wife and I were about to get married. She was teaching like 4 to 6 bar classes a week, plus she taught yoga. Okay. And she was like, "You gotta come to hot bar. You would die. You don't respect it." I was like, "No, I fully respect it. You would kick my butt and I would die." She's like, "Yeah, you're just placating." I was like, "I'm not placating you. I know I would die." She's like, "Well, I just signed you up for a class. You're coming tomorrow." I was like, "I don't want to go because I know I'm gonna die." And then we finished. I'm drenched. I'm dead. And she's like, "I told you." I was like, "I never argued that. I knew I was gonna die." So that being said, I know.
Yeah, it was great though. It's a good workout.
Yeah, I'm just a different style of coach. So when people come in, they're always asking me like, "Oh, what's your style of training?" I'm like, I'm a strength and conditioning coach, so that's my biggest focus. And a lot of the guys have a background in some sort of athletic sport, and they grew up playing sports. So, being a father, now with some of the guys is, I want to get the athleticism back. I want to keep up with my kids. So that's where the strength training comes in. But the most important thing is the conditioning part. It's like, I want to work on your heart rate. Your heart, because if you can't not condition, you can't keep up with not only yourself but your kids.
100%.
So I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I've been doing it for a while. My background was bodybuilding, but as I aged myself and being a former athlete, same scenario like you, I was like, damn, I did like a Biddle test with one of my buddies and it whooped my ass. And I was like, yeah, my conditioning sucks. And that's when I had the wake up call. I was like, 200 pounds. I can't run. I can't jump. I look good, but I can't move. I'm not mobile. So that's where I was like, I need to start doing some sort of conditioning. I changed my whole perspective of my own personal training. And then, I started doing other things. And I was like, I want to be leaner. I want to be more explosive. I want to be more athletic. Because if I do have a kid anytime, I want to be able to keep up with him.
That's good.
Or her,
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me a demo model only. He's like, you're those big lifted jack trucks on the road. It's really pretty to look at, but you can't do anything. Yeah,
but I mean, if you look at the fitness era back in the days, that was the era where everybody wanted to be a bodybuilder. Everyone was doing the men's physique. I want to be this big 200-pound guy, jack, but there's no functional whatsoever behind these athletes. Now, if you scroll through Instagram, that's kind of dying down a little bit. These father figures or these athletes don't want to be these meatheads anymore. They want to be able to get up, put some shoes, run 6 to 10 miles, hop on a bike. Hey, I can go play soccer or baseball on Sunday. They want to be more athletic. So the whole fitness journey has evolved to a whole different, game now when it comes down to being this type of athlete. So they call it the hybrid athlete now.
Yeah.
So
100%. Well, before we dive more into that, let's go back. Tell us a little bit about your story. Like, where'd you grow up? How did you get to where you're at now?
Yeah, so most people know a little bit about me, but the ones that don't know, I'm actually grew up in Santa Ana, born and raised. I'm a Latino kid, so I grew up in the neighborhood. Went to Santa Ana High School, I'm alumni from Santa Ana. So, yeah, that's my childhood. Single mom, no father figure, just always had a passion playing sports. And that's what kept me out of, I tell all my kids and my people, that's what kept me out of gangs, drugs, and just kept me molded, from all this outside noise. So growing up in the neighborhood of Santa Ana was tough for me, especially with a single mom. So that's where I grew up. And then, I just try to find a way, being around good dudes, good people. I was able to, go to a junior college and graduated from Long Beach State, earned my degree in kinesiology. So, but there was always a fulfillment of some sort of, how can I rephrase that? I wanted to study something that made sense to me. And not having the proper education, not the proper guidance, really understand like what career, what field I wanted to do. And someone just like, hey, studied kinesiology, fell in love with that career. And I was like, I want to help people. So started, training people. So that's a little bit about my upbringing, how I got involved into the whole training aspect and becoming a trainer was, just through people at the gym. They're all like, hey, you have a great physique. What are you doing with it? Started doing bodybuilding. Did that for about 8-10 years. I wanted to be a pro bodybuilder. I had a roommate at the time. I was like, dude, you're really good at what you do. You love helping people. Like, why don't you just coach people, with their nutrition, changing their lifestyle and transforming their bodies? And I was like, well, where do I go? And so, at the time I had a degree. I was like, well, I'm going to start training out of my mom's garage. Just see how this goes. So I started marketing a little bit on social media. Hey, I'm training one-on-one on my mom's garage for like $20. Who wants to take it on a Saturday or Sunday? Had like 3 DMs, started training people out of my mom's garage. I never wanted to work for a corporate place. I was like, I've heard stories. I knew people that train as trainers for. I was like, it sounds brutal. So, just being involved in the bodybuilding, I was able to build my network and meet people. And I met a guy and was like, hey, I'm a private trainer at a private facility. Well, how does that work? And I'm like, all right. You pay an overhead of $750 a month. I'm like, God damn, $750 a month? I was like, I don't even have that money. So I saved for about 3 to 4 months. And I was like, I'm going to save 3 to 4 months. I'm going to quit my job. And I'm just going to go all in. And I was like, whatever happens, happens. And so I decided to just pull the trigger. I was like, okay, I was getting a little bit too busy in my mom's garage. Go to a private facility. I said, I'll figure it out. I don't know the right answer, but I know one thing about me. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to grind. And I'm just going to outwork everyone in my circle. And so the first 3 or 4 months, I wanted to fucking quit. Sorry, excuse my laugh. I was like, I wanted to quit. I was like, this is horrible. I was like, I got to do my own marketing. I got to go knock on doors. I got to put my name out. I got to create an image. And I was like, sucks. Like I had a whole different perspective when it came down to being a private trainer at a private facility. But I was like, you know what? If these individuals can do it, how come I can't do it? The only thing that's stopping me is myself. I was like, you told yourself you're going to go all in and you were going to outwork everybody. And I'm like, all right, start building my name. Start building the name Turna. I'm like, people need to know who I am. People need to know my story. People need to know how I've transformed 10, 15 clients at the time. So I just started, sharing that message on social media, putting myself in community events, networking, just doing research, calling other trainers, doing trainer sessions with other trainers, just learning. And then slowly but surely, I started building a name. And as you guys know me now, I'm Kev Turna. And so here's where we're at now. 10 years later, I was a private trainer, and a lot of things have happened throughout the 10 years, but good things have happened because they have not only made me who I am now, but they have opened many doors to open Mueve Studio that we just recently opened November 1st.
What's up, guys? Jordan here from the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast. Huge shout out to our sponsor, BioPro. Ben and I have been on it for a while now, but I got to tell you this. Nothing is more important to a dad than sleep. We usually don't get a lot of it, and it's usually not great quality. But ever since I started taking BioPro plus cortisol, my sleep has been phenomenal. So go check them out in our show notes down below. There are a few things in life that I enjoy more, and I argue any man enjoys more than a good cup of coffee in the morning. That's why I use veteran-owned and operated Hidden House Coffee. Hidden House Coffee roasts here in Santa Ana, California. They have locations in Santa Ana, San Juan, or San Clemente. But you can go to hiddenhousecoffee.com and use GDGD on your checkout to receive a discount. I highly recommend going with their coffee subscription. But yes, if you want a great cup of coffee, not a good cup of coffee, a great cup of coffee, go to hiddenhousecoffee.com. Thank you to our sponsors, NextGen. NextGen Industries is committed to advancing longevity, wellness, and strength through precision-driven innovation. Select products are USA finished and manufactured, meaning they are held to a pharmacy-grade, FDA compounding pharmacy standard. Each product is sterile, isotonic, and pH balanced, rigorously tested for purity and quality, and provided a certificate of analysis. That's because at NextGen Industries, transparency, performance, and long-term health come first.
I want to ask you a question, and you can go kind of as in-depth as you want or not, but we talk a lot about like fatherhood on the podcast, and we've had a very big array of like great fathers, bad fathers, no fathers. For one of the questions I like to kind of like dive into is because I had an amazing father, you know, so did Jordan. And so my perspective on a dad, especially as I grew up and as a man, I had somebody to kind of like lean on or look to. For you, where did you find some of that? Because you know, you have a lot of like daddy problem people or daddy issue people. Like my wife didn't have a good dad.
Yeah.
She had other male figures in her family. Her grandfather basically was her dad. But she has every excuse to have as like I didn't have a dad, so I this and that, right? Like for you, where did you kind of pull on for some of that?
So, I mean, growing up in a neighborhood, looking back at my childhood, you know, I saw my mom as a strong woman, but, you know, she can never fill in those shoes of certain things she can say or do as a man, like men do, right?
Yeah.
And there was a local gentleman in our neighborhood. His name is Mario Guillen, and he took 6 of us under his wing, and especially myself and my brother, you know, knowing our backstory. And what he would do, and every weekend, he'll be like, hey, I'm going to wash cars. You guys want to come help me out? All right. Well, how do we get compensated if we wash cars? Well, I'll take you guys to have lunch. Okay, cool. We'll grab all of the neighborhood cars, family members, cousins, like 6, 7 cars. We'll grab the trouble kids, which it was us and my other buddies. Hey, we're going to wash all these cars. The way he will pay us, he will take us out to lunch. But he was that father figure for many of us. To this day, I still keep in touch with them. You know, probably not as much as I should, but he was a big role model for myself, my brother, and my other friends in that community. So that's the person I used to lean on. You know, I looked up to him because he was an architect. He was also a college graduate. So there was things that I admire from him. And so, yeah, he will always mentor us and just talk to us about the neighborhood. You know, there's 2 ways. You know, either you're going to end up in jail or you get out of the bubble. And I call the bubble our neighborhood. So I was like, I want out. So, yeah, you know, he was just like, do this, do that. Even if you fail, you're going to learn from that. But the biggest thing is you need to get out of the neighborhood and meet other people outside your neighborhood and surround yourself with good dudes and good people, and you're going to learn from them. So, yeah, Mario again was a big part of my childhood. So
I love asking that, dude, because there's guests that didn't have that either, right? And they just either they went down the wrong path and they had a moment where it's like, oh shoot, like if I don't change, I'm gonna be a nobody. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, dude, I say it almost, I feel like every other episode now, but it's these conversations make me appreciate the upbringing that I had even more than I already did.
Yeah.
But more so, it makes me realize, like, you have the chance now as a dad to make sure those children never have to figure out, am I enough? How do I do this? How do I love, my spouse? Like all those things, like, of course, we have the power to make or break that. And it's the scarier part is we have the power to break that. Like obviously I try to be a good dad, but there's moments I'm not a good dad. So it's like in those moments I'm like, oh shoot, like how do I fix that? So they know like, your dad was wrong, but like it's okay to like mess up And I think that's the crazier part now, as I'm realizing, is we have the power as good men to impact your circles in such a way that I like never even thought was possible.
Of course.
And it's freaking crazy to think about.
Yeah, you don't have to be a dad to be a dad figure to people. Like,
So I would say I'm a dad figure to all my men in my gym.
dude. Yeah, and that's people need more of that though, because there's a lot of. It's funny, we just said we were gonna switch to good dude. We're gonna keep this like a very dad podcast.
Good dude, yeah, no.
But no, like it's there's a lot of that missing in a lot of people's life. Like my dad was a dad to a lot of people that didn't have that kind of, support at home, and I'm very grateful for that, because I mean, where else are you gonna get if you don't have a dad at home and you don't have somebody like on your street? What other options do they have? They just gotta learn from other stupid teenagers making dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I looked at this gentleman. He was a good dude.
Yeah.
He didn't have to help us.
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't have to open the doors and guide us. So, I look back like, 20 years now? And I'm like, he has a good heart. He's a good person.
Yeah.
That's the role model I'm looking up to, and that's the individual I want to be 20 years from now. And that's where you said a good dude, and that's who I want to become. I want to become a good dude and open doors to many other good dudes to be around our community. And that's where I'm able to share my space, and that's the gym space. It's not just throwing weights around. It's also getting to know each other while we're training. There's a lot of cross-networking, a lot of, learning from one another, ups and downs. And it can be from the business side, from being a better father, a better husband, but we talk about it while we're training. So there's more than just training. So,
Yeah.
The training is never just training. There's so many life lessons that can be learned from working out and from pushing past things that, there's a pastor that I've been using his phrase lately is a lot of people want to get jacked, nobody wants to get sore. And he's like, there's a lot of things in life though that people feel that are that way in a lot of areas where they want the result without the effort.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can learn to discipline your mind and you can learn to push past those adversities, if you can learn to build community through shared struggle, it's not just gonna improve your fitness and your health and your well-being. It's gonna improve every area of your life. You can't grow an area like that without it spilling into other areas.
Of course.
That being said, you said that sports was also a big part of your life.
Of course, 100%.
What sports did you play, and like how did that mold you as a young man?
I mean, I played every sport. My goal was to get out of the neighborhood. So whatever I can play and try out for, I was playing. So, high school days, I'm going to go just to my high schools. I'm not going to go all the way back. I played 3 sports, football, basketball, and volleyball. And as you know, it's one sport after another one. So that was the goal. Stay in school as much as I can to keep me away from the neighborhood. I was also, after high school, I played 1 year at community college football. So I was able to walk on and play cornerback for OCC.
Sick.
But, things go in a different direction. Being raised by a single mom, I had to take a full responsibility and start paying bills and help her out. So, I took a job since I was 16, try to balance both sports. I had to let something go. And I knew I wasn't going to be a D1 athlete. So I was like, I'm going to help my mom, and I'm going to take this serving job and make a little bit more money to, move out of the neighborhood. That was my goal. My goal was to get out of the neighborhood. Nothing bad about it, but I knew if I was able to get out, I was going to, accomplish that goal that was always in the back of my mind. And that's leave the gangs, leave, the drugs, leave our community to become a better person. So
do you remember having that thought as a kid to like intentionally keep yourself busy so that you stayed away from
I just saw it.
nonsense?
I mean, when you're part of a neighbor and you see it in real life, I was just like, if I don't keep myself busy, I'm going to end up be doing something stupid in this neighborhood, which we did, and I look back and I'm like, what the heck? What the heck was going on in our minds at that time? So the more involved I was in school and playing sports, the more time I was in school and playing sports, the more time I was, staying away from the neighborhood. So yeah.
Smart.
So sports kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I fall back, studying kinesiology and becoming a trainer, having great coaches. Now I'm able to apply the same things that I've learned and share with, the guys that I train now. And I always say my doors are always open to anyone that wants the space and wants a community and just wants a new home to feel happy.
Yeah.
So
we also got to talk about the grind that you had to go through. Because again, this is another avenue we go and talk about, but people will go to one of the coffee shops and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you guys are so busy, you crush it, must be so nice. And I'm like, I mean, yes, thankfully it's busy now.
Yeah.
But bro, I just said this, I met with a young man who's probably going to end up listening to this on Wednesday. He's 22 years old and he has been wanting to meet with me simply because he wants to better himself. And he feels that I could help him add value to his life. And that's one, I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
But two, he's listened to almost every one of these episodes because he recognizes our stories are what are important. He goes to our church.
No way.
And
That's dope. I told you you're more important than me in the podcast.
You're so dumb.
Listen to all these stories, and then you come talk to you. Sorry,
but
that's all good.
He was asking me questions, dude. What I've always known two things in my life. I want to be a husband, and I want to be a father. He's like, everything else I've never really been sure about, but those are the two that I want to be.
That's me.
And he goes, how can I be a better father now? And I was like, whoa, shoot, okay. That's not a question I would have ever asked at 22.
Yeah.
So I said, that's number one, is you're putting yourself in a position to absorb things to help you get to a better spot, right?
100%. Yeah.
And as a young guy, I feel like there's so much there that you don't even understand or know what you need. And so full circling that back is people see the coffee shops now and yeah, they're busy, but they didn't see that the first 10 years of our business was miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. I countless times almost quit because I was like, why am I doing this? It's been 10 years. I can't even buy my wife a freaking nice dinner. We live in it was a really rad 450 square foot studio, but we don't even have space for us. We don't have this, we don't have that. Why, right? 10 years of that. And then COVID happens and then you're like, oh my gosh, we're not going to make this. And, something happened during that time frame of one, I truly just believe God opened doors for us, but two, we learned how to run leaner as a company. We started adapting and doing different things like social media and doing all these things that we didn't do before. But if you think about, and this is why I brought up that kid, I told him the first 10 years were miserable. So if you think of the longevity, May will be 16 years of Hidden House. And so the first 10 were awful. And so I've only had 5 of decent. Realistically, I've only had 2 years out of 15 that I would actually say, oh,
They were good
all
years.
right.
Yeah.
I got to pay myself. My family's okay, But if you think 2 years out of 16, that's awful, right?
know.
But people looking at it, oh my gosh, it must be so nice, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, they don't see the grind work.
Yeah.
I always tell people, even to this day, just opening Mueve Studio 3 months ago, I said, you guys see this beautiful gym, the beautiful wall, but I'm there, I'm the first one that opens and I'm the last one out. I stay, I clean, my wife and I clean our own restrooms.
Yeah.
That's the grind work you don't see. We dust all equipment. We vacuum the gym. We want to make sure this gym is spotless. People don't want to do the grind work. They want the easy way out. They want the success. But I think the grind work is what molds us, right? This is why we're here together.
Yeah.
Because we can relate on that. I know you're putting in work at your shop and you're putting in work here. And I want to be around individuals that are like-minded. And I know if something breaks or something goes, they're putting the same work ethic, the same grind as I am. Because I don't want to be around someone that's lazy that just wants to sit on the couch. Unfortunately, that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, I already had a tough upbringing, and, you know, I'm all about hustling and grind, and I respect that. So, you know, the 22-year-olds are the new gen. I feel like they're a little lazy. You know?
For sure.
Yeah, they want everything the easy way. But I tell them, you still got to do I call it the dirty work.
Yeah.
The grind work. You got to put yourself out there. You got to market now, learn how to market. You got to learn how to talk to people. You got to do uncomfortable things, sitting on podcasts, plug and play, put yourself in communities and networks. I was like, if you leave a place and you didn't introduce yourself or meet 3 people, no one really knows who you are. That is the grind work for a business.
Yeah.
And there's probably more to that you guys can, you know, add on to as well.
Yeah, like what you said, I mean, put yourself in as many uncomfortable situations as possible.
Yeah.
You know, because that's where that real growth happens, when you're constantly putting yourself in places where you're like, this is going to stretch me.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
You know, like this is going to, like I was just telling, maybe, was it you? I don't know. I took on the position that I'm doing right now, and I'm like, I'm low-key terrified right now, because I'm like, this is just outside what I feel like my capacity is. And I'm like, now I know I can get there.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like this is stretching me farther than I've been stretched before. And then the thing before that, and the thing before that. And it's like you're saying, everyone sees Mueve Studios.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you still remember your mom's garage. And it's like, this wasn't an overnight success. This is years of hard work.
Yeah.
leading
And
up
your
to a certain
mindset
point.
hasn't changed.
Yeah,
Like you're
no.
cleaning the gym.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You know, I just see the bigger picture. You know, I'm not thinking about money. I'm not thinking about success right away. It's just like, hey, I'm going to put in the work right now, the grind. You had to do it for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, it was the ups and downs in those 10 years, but those 10 years, you know, you learn a lot from it, right?
Yeah.
And then the next 5 years, you're like, okay, I see a little bit more on the green side, making some profit. And then you're like, okay, I see the 2 years that I'm finally spent a little bit more time. But the grind work is the journey that we're actually looking forward to.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I explained to the younger generation. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
You know, that grind journey.
Well,
you
dude,
know?
it's like, man, my grind's different now.
Yeah.
Right? Like I might not be behind the counter
Yeah.
making people's coffees anymore. I might not be even in the stores every day anymore. But now my grind is, frick, dude, we have payroll.
Yeah.
And it's $70,000 every 2 weeks. What do I do? Like this morning, Jordan saw almost 16 years later. I saw him sitting there. I haven't seen him in like a week. I wanted to go say what's up, but I was like, dude, I have to go straight to the office real quick. I have to look for these wholesale checks. I have to do all these things because like I just had $11,000 come out of our account that I wasn't expecting. And I'm not trying to flex on people by saying numbers. I'm just saying like the grind doesn't stop. Like just because I'm not behind somewhere or because you're not in your mom's garage or you're stretched right now to be doing something that you thought was beyond you, the grinds that you've put in before that is what's enabling you to get there, right?
course.
So like I could have just freaking freaked out this morning and been like, well, I'm going to do nothing about it. But no, I went into freaking hustle mode. I went into our wholesale list. I said, who owes us money right now? Who can I collect from like right now? Who can I send a text to real quick and be like, hey dude, like usually I'm really chill and lenient with your payment, but can you pay this $3,500 invoice like right now? Like they don't need to know the reason. But I mean, if they listen to this, they'll know the reason. But like, I wanted to share that because like, I think it's all, Jordan and I talk about this all the time. It's all relative, right?
Yeah, of course.
What to Jeff Bezos is $1 million to him is like, you know, $5 to us, but it's all relative. Just because he has all these things, it also means his problems are all those things.
Yeah.
And when I look at my life now, like, yeah, that first 10 years was a grind and like I would freak out to try to pay the $200 produce bill back then. Now that same bill's $5,000, but it's relative, right? And I think the grind mentality of having to earn something is what creates longevity and lasting success. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but this last 15 years, your last 15 years, your last 15 years is all gonna at some point have to like, you know, carry you. Like right now, like you're talking about your mom's garage and digging in, giving it, like just going all in.
Yeah, no, I mean, you already know our story. I mean, I've been grinding since my mom's garage, and everyone was like, "Why don't you own a gym? Why don't you own a gym?" I was like, "Hey, my time will come."
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm still going to continue doing me, continue grinding, putting myself out there. And I always say, when God knows it's my time, it's my time. And unfortunately, my scenario is a little different than a lot of people. Like, you know, our old gym closed down. I was just a subcontractor, and things went south. And God blessed me with this opportunity. Everyone talks about timing. This was the perfect timing. You know, one thing had to go down to another one to open, and I was able to, you know, open this gym and, you know, still have a home for most of our trainers. So
it's funny how some of the worst moments in your life that you think it's going to be catastrophic end up actually being the best moments in the long run. Like there was somebody that was saying, he's like, I feel like it's so funny that I'm at where I'm at now because it feels like a series of wrong decisions along the way, or things that I thought were failures, or things that I thought were, he's like, it was a whole string of what I perceived as mess ups were actually the thing that got me to where I needed to be at this point.
Of course.
And it's like,
yeah, I mean, my mind, like I was saying, it was more of the other owner's mess ups, but it was it was given to me. Like God said, it's your turn to take this.
Yeah.
And you know, we're blessed, you know, and I'm happy. So
semi-true, but not true.
Yeah.
I mean, because you had to still put in all that work.
Correct.
So those trainers would want to go with you.
So they had to believe in me, and they had to believe in what I was putting out there. And that's, they knew, like, if they didn't see the grind work I was already putting at my old studio, they wouldn't have come with me.
No way.
And so I was able to build that trust, and they knew from day one. I was like, look, man, I'm grinding. Even if this is not my gym, it belongs to someone else.
Yeah.
I'm grinding. I'm bringing clientele. I'm helping you guys out. So knowing that I was opening this gym and they're on the, I was like, he's going to do the same thing.
For sure.
You know, and I tell them, I'm like, I'm the first one in and I'll be the last one out.
Yeah.
You know, if you think you're working hard, no, you're not. I'm going to outwork you guys. And that's just been my grind mentality.
Well, dude, he would freaking, which is very rare.
Yeah.
Your personality type. There's not very many people that would go into something that's not theirs, but treat it as if it is theirs. This guy would freaking go in and like an equipment would be, like a piece of equipment would be broken. Either he would try to get it fixed himself, or you would freaking, you bought some equipment for the old gym.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think the biggest thing on our end is, you know, like, we wanted a space, you know, that everybody was welcoming, but everything was broken. So, like, if something was broken, we were like, okay, well, if the owner can pay it, we need to buy it. But we got to cater to our clients. So even the restrooms, like, they're not being updated. Hey, I'm going to update it myself. You know, I don't care if it costs me $5,000, but I see the value. I want my people to be happy. So, you know, it didn't belong to me, but I had to grind. They weren't doing it. I had to do it myself to fulfill this space and this happiness for other people too. So
I heard two key takeaways from both of you guys in there. It's like, one is treat other people's stuff with respect. You know, and especially in settings like that where it's, you know, it's going to eventually benefit you down the road. And even if it doesn't, like, treating somebody else's stuff as if you own it is such a skill. That's like, it's a skill that's not taught, but it's something that will will endear people to you. And you have to, I mean, obviously you want to do it for the right reasons and not just because you want to get something out of it. But having that personality is so big. And both of you guys too, it's having even as a business owner, the humility to be able to do things like even clean toilets. Like, I mean, I've seen there's one thing I love about Ben, and because it's something that I do, you're never willing to ask someone to do something that you're not willing to do.
For sure.
And it sounds like the exact same. I mean, I don't know you all that well, but it seems exactly the same way. If you said you're cleaning the toilets, it's like, hey, if I'm willing as a business owner to clean the toilets to make sure that your clients look good and that everyone's happy here, then it's that willingness to do the things that people think are the low man on the totem pole things, that raises everybody's morale and goes, hey, there's none of that here. You know, we're all going to chip in to make things happen together.
100%.
And I love that. I love that.
Well, I think it's something that needs to be taught somehow.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't teach that.
No, and
Or model that.
It's probably because they didn't have, and this is what I'm saying is like we need to be able to find a way to fix it. But you didn't have a father figure in your life. You had the neighborhood guy.
Yeah.
I learned those traits from my dad. But what about to the next guy that doesn't have a dad, doesn't have an uncle, a grandfather, he doesn't have the neighborhood guy? Like, what does that guy do? You know, like where does that guy find it? Unless he has the willingness and ability in himself to go figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, dude, I would love
for
to
it.
sit here and tell you guys I would be the man I am today if I didn't have the dad I had, but I don't think I would. And that's just the truth. I don't think I would, because who would have taught me the ability to like not quit, the ability to, if you don't have an answer to something, you go figure it out. You don't need to be the smartest one in the room, but you better be like the one to work hardest in the room. Like, who would have taught me all those things? You know, like I would love to be able to sit here and be like, nope, I would have figured it out. I don't think I would have. Like being a kid from Orange County, like would I have figured that out on my own? I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
So the kids that don't have those.
I mean, not for those kids that don't have it, like myself, it was more like, you know, like, damn, I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, if not, I'm going to be stuck in this, like I said, this neighborhood forever. So, like, learning some father traits were just asking, you know, like, even this year, like, I'm not a handyman, right? You know, so my goal with this year's be more handy.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't have that father figure to teach me, but I'm leaning towards a trainer that's a handyman. That's like my father right now. Like, hey man, how do you screw on the wall? Well, you got to do this. How to use this damn drill? Well, what's the name of this? Or how do you hang this clock? But you know, those traits you were probably taught by your father figure, I'm learning them at 38, you know? So, you know, and I've learned a lot throughout, you know, and I've learned a few things from my mom.
Yeah. So. Well, that's amazing though. And I think that's what I don't want people to ever listen to this podcast and be like, oh, I didn't have this, so I don't need to ever figure it out. Like, no, that's not true. Like we need to, as men, I fully believe, as humans, not just men, as humans, the second we stop being willing to learn is the second I think you'll see all the freaking craziness in the world, right? Like people have forgot what compassion is. Like you could learn some compassion, right? Like it doesn't matter if I'm almost 40 years old. Like I can learn how to be more patient. I can learn how to be more understanding. I am learning that all the time, that I need to be more understanding in whatever the situation is. But I don't know, man. And I think a lot of it goes back to that grind mentality. Yeah. And being able to just freaking figure it out. And that's
being humble enough to
I'll say TikTok and YouTube nowadays.
Dude, serious.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my guys, I'm like, hey, figure it out. You don't know something? YouTube it.
Yeah.
I mean, also the pride, you know, I tell my guys, look, I don't know how to build half of this stuff, but I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's, everyone gives me a hard time. Oh, you need to, you know, that's a men thing. I'm like, unfortunately, I wasn't taught this, but it's never too late to learn.
Yeah.
So I'll YouTube it, TikTok it, or I'll ask another man, hey, Ben, can you help me out with this?
Yeah.
Well, teach me one or two things that your father taught you that you can pass down to me.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to learn, you know, and I continue to learn like that, the willingness to learn.
Like one of my best friends, dude, we just did the same thing. He just got married. He's 38 also. Didn't really have a great father figure in his life. I think he's coming more around now, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like I just had my first real conversation with this guy's dad. We've been best friends since 8th grade. Wow. I just had my first real conversation with him at his wedding last month. Dude, we've been friends. How old are you in 8th grade? 13?
Like 13, 14.
So let's say 13. I can't do the math right now. 20 something years. We've been like best friends.
25 years, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. 25 years. And now I just had like my first real conversation with the guy. And so he wasn't taught a lot of the things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, and my dad became that. But, you know, by the time you're a freshman in high school, you could still learn, but like it's different, right? We were into sports. But he texted me, he's like, hey, we just moved into our new apartment. Can you help me put stuff together? And I was like, He's like, my wife is doing it. And I was like, dude, do it with her.
Yeah.
And so like we came over, like we planned a Saturday afternoon where we brought the family and I brought all my tools, and I walk in and it's my buddy, his wife, and his wife's sister. I walk in, I didn't know what I was going to need, so I brought everything. I brought our bags that we always bring. I had a big old toolkit with me. I had a drill, 2 different drills because I didn't know what I was going to need. I had like, all my anchoring systems. I had whatever, I brought all of it, socket kit. And the sister goes, "Oh wow, you sure brought the tools you thought you'd need, huh?" And I was like, "Well, dude, I didn't know what I was going to need.
Right.
Yeah.
So I brought everything."
Right.
And she's like, "This is so cool. Like, Kyle, has he always done this for you?" And I was like, "I mean, pretty much."
But where'd you learn that from?
My dad.
Yeah. So like, just, piggyback off that, we were camping. I was with AJ. I've never ever started a fire in my life. And I feel like starting a fire is usually passed down by father, or an uncle, or some sort of sibling. Never. So he asked me, he said, "Hey, Kev, you know how to start a fire?" I was like, "I have no idea." All right, I'm going to teach you how to start a fire. Shows me, hey, you grab this, do this, put the fuel on the fire, start it up. In my head, it looked, and it seemed, when I was playing it back, I was like, "Nah, it's probably so complicated. I got to do the little stick and whatever, blow on it, like whatever you see on the TV show." No, he did it so simple, but now I know how to start a fire. Something that my father wasn't able to teach me when I was a kid. I just learned 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But now I can pass that trait to my son or daughter.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine is playing that, father figure to start a fire. So, so I'm grateful for things like that.
That's such a hard, touching moment for me because we were just at my parents' house like a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
And my son was like, "Hey, I want to start a fire." And so we literally went and grabbed rocks from around my parents' property and made a little fire pit. They have like 5 acres. Made a little circle fire pit, and him and I literally just for like 2 hours made a fire, and then just sat in the gravel poking at it. And he was just the happiest 5-year-old in the entire world. And
so that's like a man thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like a father thing to teach your son or daughter how to start a fire.
Yeah.
I have never ever started a fire.
Yeah.
So learning it from one of my closest friends was like, dude, like now I can pass this to my kids one of these days.
Yeah.
And like you share that moment, hey, let's start a fire. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's the most simple things,
Of course,
that make lasting impacts. And I feel like if we can take that as men in our circles, to never be so above like whatever the situation is, but get down on the level and always have that humility and being humble is what, again, the world needs more of, right? Like
more good dudes, you
dude,
know?
yeah. Think about like, all right, Santa Ana, we're in Santa Ana right now.
Yeah.
You think about Santa Ana, how you grew up. So my mom's side of my family is all from Santa Ana. My cousins went to Century. My mom went to Lathrop. My other cousins went to Madison. So Santa Ana has been in my family a long time. Devin likes to joke with me, but like I was here, my grandma helped raise me and my sister from 1st to 8th grade.
Yeah, I remember you sharing that.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, but you got to go home to like Lake Forest." I was like, "Yeah, but like I spent most of my young pivotal ages here in Santa Ana, and then I got to go home." But I had cousins that weren't like that. One of them's still in prison to this day, and one of my aunts was in F Troop. Like there's a lot of like history in Santa Ana, but you think of the way people are like grow up here, and you can talk to any of the cops here and stuff like that, and they'll tell you one of the most common things that they see in this city and in a lot of major cities is the kids that are in trouble are usually the ones without a father in the home.
Of course.
And that is something that is so important to me.
Yeah, I mean, I even before the whole training system myself, I used to work with a lot of incarcerated youth. And that was, like you said, it was very important to you. It was also very important to me.
Yeah.
To teach some of these kids that, there is a light on the end of the tunnel. Like you don't have to be like everyone else that you grew up with in your neighborhood. And I always get, phone calls and emails like people wanting me to go back and speak because of my own upbringing. So I try to motivate and inspire these kids. Like, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
So that right there, like, you hit a point. Like, that's why I want to be a good dude, a good role model, you know, a good image. Someone from our local neighborhood actually is making something out of himself and has created an amazing gym, not only in Orange County, but worldwide. If he can do it and I can inspire someone else from our local community or anywhere, then I'm doing something right. So
Yeah.
Actually,
You go.
no.
No.
Well,
go.
I was gonna ask the last question.
Yeah, go ask
ahead.
it.
Oh, well, that kind of leads great into our last question. Is like, if there's a man or a young man looking out there to better themselves, what is like one actionable step that you would give them if they were trying to do something today?
It's funny because I have a 13-year-old niece, and we were just having a conversation. So he goes, "Hey, Theo, can I ask you a question?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I have a friend that's looking to be a personal trainer." I was like, "Can you help him?" I was like, "Well, you know, can you jump on a call?" This is during like VI text. I was like, "All right, you know, I just want to say thank you for sharing what your Theo does, and you know, I'm more than welcome to help your friend." So my message now and having the studio is any kid that's struggling that wants to pursue what I'm doing, they have an internship any day. Especially if I know that, one, they don't have a father. Two, you know, they're coming from a neighborhood and they're struggling. I want to make sure they have that home because you said it earlier, kids out in the streets with no father or no home are the ones that usually get incarcerated.
Yeah.
So I play a bigger role now in that space. One is I'll be that fatherhood for them, or that father. I'll be that role model. And second, they have a home any day. So that's why opening a gym means a lot to me, because I'm able to share that space not only with entrepreneurs, businessmen, you know, moms, but now with my own personal community, to take someone from our community and hopefully inspire them and make them to become a good dude and maybe a good father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that too, because I think there's another very important fact in what we're all saying is
Yeah.
being a good dude doesn't have to always translate into being a good father.
Yeah.
Being a good dude can simply be what AJ did for you on that camping trip.
Oh, yeah.
Or what Jordan has done for me at times when I'm like feeling off, or
Vice versa.
whatever. You know, you meet a guy and
Good dudes
they're
right
struggling.
now. Just doing this podcast is being a good dude, you know, sharing
Yeah.
sharing
Our
a small
experiences.
experience and conversation.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that's what is becoming more and more clear to me is like, yo, like you had a great dad, you had a great mom, you had a pretty solid upbringing, but there's so many people around you that didn't, and there's going to always be someone around you that didn't. So you can act as that light for somebody at some point. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but it shouldn't have to be, my action should not have to be like dictated on that one moment. It should be my life, right? Everything I do, obviously I'm going to freaking make some big mistakes. I'm going to say some dumb things. I might punch you in your mouth if you get in my face. Like there's going to be those things that are going to happen. But if I always can kind of point back in what we're saying in this room, every conversation we have is never stop learning, never stop being able to like admit like, hey, I have
some flaws.
I got some
you know?
flaws,
Yeah.
you know, let's work on them. Let's talk it out. Let's figure it out. Like that's what's going to continue to build, I think, a long lasting legacy of who you impact.
Correct.
100%. Kevin, thank you, man.
I appreciate you guys for having me. And it's been lovely sitting here next to you guys and sharing my story.
Dude, feel honored. If people are trying to find you in the gym, where's the best place?
I mean, honestly, right now, Instagram will be our best platform. Mueve.studio is our new handle. Or they can email us at info@mueve.studio. Just give us a follow, give us a like. You know, you'll see a lot of good dudes on my page that have a good message.
You got to get in there and work out if you're local. Jordan links everything down below, but sometimes if you're only listening, that's
the best
that's
way.
the way.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys. linked down below as always, and be a good dude.
That
That's
threw
it.
me off. That threw me off.
Is that